Hello friends, welcome to my channel Fusion Machine Learning. If you are first time viewer on my channel, subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon to get latest update from Fusion Machine Learning. In today's demonstration, we are going to cover one more business requirement, how to create pause for date and time with flex fields. So until unless user enter the date or we have provide or pass the date and time from the source system, it will be remain into the waiting status. Now I'll show you one of the order with the demo and then we'll move to the setup part of it. So I have created one order. So if you notice that currently order is in scheduled status. So I have created pause task after the scheduled. So once user pass the date and type, the created EFF, system will validate the condition that date, whatever user has entered in the flex field, if that is matching with the system date, system automatically release the pause. So we will see that. Before that, we'll move to the switch to fulfillment view. And if I click on the orchestration process, you can notice that so scheduled condition fulfilled by the system. Now it's into the pause. So let's move to the flex fields. So if I go to the orange drop down, view additional information, within the view additional information, if you notice that order release date. So that is what the EFF that I have created in order to fulfill A, those dates are null. So I'll go. So it's into awaiting. So what I will do, I will go and click on the create revision. Once I click on the create revision, what I will do as a user, I will enter today's date. So let me enter today's date. So I have selected today's date. Since this EFF is the value set or the data type is only date, not with the time. So system will evaluate the date only. So today is 12th July. System will evaluate. So today is 12th July and I have entered as a user 12th July. System will release automatically pause from the orchestration. So we'll see that and we'll cover if I enter tomorrow's date, it will be into the waiting status only. So let's wait. Change pending. Let's refresh. Till this order is processing, we'll create another order. So let me copy and create another order where I'll enter tomorrow's date so that you will see the difference of it. So let me go to the edit additional information and I will enter tomorrow's date. So once this date matches with the current date, means user enter date matches with the system date, it will automatically release the pause. And until that date arrives, it will be remain into the pause. So today is 12th July and I have entered tomorrow's date. So it won't be released. It will go into the waiting status. So let me click on OK and I'll submit the order and we'll see both orders status. So now it's into created. So let me search back previous order. Now if you see, it's moved into the awaiting shipping. So we'll go back to fulfillment and within the fulfillment orchestration process, if you see that schedule and now pause is completed because today is 12th July and as per system date is 12th July. So system matches with the date, current date and it's released and it's processed to the next step. Now if I go back and if I query the newly created order, you notice that it will move into the waiting status. So if you see, because within the flags fields, I have entered tomorrow days. So it will release tomorrow automatically. So user no need to come back again, release the pause manually or take any actions. So whatever the date you entered via integrations or user entered, system will reevaluate the enter date and release pause automatically. So this is what the pause we have created. Now if I create another order where I'm not providing any information, system is still remain into the pause status. For that, I have created another pause rule which will wait for certain days. So that let's take an example. User created an order, and while creating the order, if he or she forget enter the dates, system is still wait for user to enter the date because it's null condition. And once user enter the date, it will start reevaluate. So for the certain periods, so these kind of the flexible, the pause rule or the conditions you can create based on your business need. So let's move to the switch to fulfillment. And if you notice that it's move into the shipping status, and we'll see that if I go back into the additional information, and if you notice that order release date, so it is null. Now to satisfy all these rules, you can refer my previous videos where I had created more videos on this pause rule. Now we'll move to the setup part of it, where I'll walk you through what I have done. So basically, if you see that this is what the orchestration process that I have created, and within that, I have put it the pause, pause for order release date. So I'll show you all the detail. Now, if I click, if you notice that after the schedule, I have created pause. So you have to click on plus. So let me show you first the rule condition, how you can enter the pause, create condition, task type, the steps, how you can choose. You can refer my previous videos. Now I'll go directly to the pause rule. Now within the pause rule, I have written these conditions. So let me make it little zoomer and I'll show you all the conditions. So first rule. So I have created first rule. So first rule, you have to click on generate rule. And once you click on the generate rule, you have to enable the advanced mode. Once you enable the advanced mode and active, and first rule will be into priority into the medium status and click on OK. So these you have to take care. Now within the rule one, I have written if header is a DOO seeded orchestration rules dot DOO header. So you have to enter the same exactly the condition. After that, you have to click on and add another condition. F line means fulfillment line is a DOO seeded orchestration rules DOO dot DOO F line and header dot child F line RL dot contains F line. What it means that if header having the child the fulfillment line and that fulfillment lines contain the line, let me, so if I click on the revise process, it will enable me to edit or update or revise my orchestration process. I'll show you how I created it and what rules we have written and how we have written it. So you have to, so whenever you are copying the standard seeded orchestration process, you have to make sure you duplicate it and created the custom. How we can duplicate and create custom? So I have created a couple of videos on that. So you can refer my earlier videos. Now within that, so wherever you are utilizing the extensible flex fields in order to create pause or satisfy your certain conditions, you have to make sure that you enable the checkbox use flex field attributes. So if you are utilizing any transactional item attributes, then enable this. Now parent process and replan instantly that will always be enabled. Now coming back, so you have to select. So let's take example. If after the schedule you would like to add any pause, you have to select the first line, the first step, and then you have to click on the plus. So if you click on the plus, so it will add another row below the selected steps where you can enter. So now let me delete this since I have already created the pause. I'll just show you how you can do that. So I have entered a step name. Step name is customizable name or nomenclature you can use in order to understand. So whenever there's a pause, so you can understand that this pause is for what purpose. Then the task type is pause. Task steps is pause for delivery, and service we are utilizing pause process. And after that, if I slowly move to the pause rule, so this is very important. So click on the pause rule. Once you click on the pause rule, you have these two rules that I mentioned earlier. So in order to create or enter any rule, you have to click on the plus and then you have the generate rules. So you have to click on the generate rules and then you can create your rules. So let me show you. See how you can enter the rule. Within that, you can go to the properties and then select your simple task, variable, nested conditions. So as per your business requirement, you can create all of those. Now I'll delete the rule 3 since I don't have another pause to be added since my two rules are satisfying my condition. So first rule, so what I have created in the properties section, you have to make sure that priority will be medium, status active, and you must enable the advanced mode. That you have to make sure. Once you're done, then first you have to enter the condition within the if header is a DOO seeded purchasation rules dot DOO header. Once you've done that, then you have to add another condition F line is a DO seeded purchasation rules dot DO F line. And after that, you have to enter another simple condition. So simple test you have to enter. Once you enter this simple test, you have to enter header dot child F lines. RL contains means the lines contains the fulfillment. Right. And after that, you have to enter another condition F line EFF. So if fulfillment line having the EFF and is a DOO seeded orchestration rules dot flags context. Then after that, you have to click on the conditions, the simple test, and within the simple test, you have to enter. So F line EFF is not null. So what I have mentioned that it should not be null. After that, F line dot flags context contains means the my context contain the fulfillment line EFF and then F line EFF context is not null. So I have entered that my context must be having the EFF and within the EFF that EFF should not be null, as well as context is not null. Now, after that, F line EFF context equals ignore case, order release date. I'll show you what EFF and what values you have to enter. So, order release date, this you have, this I have quoted. So, order release date, that you have to use the context code, that you have to keep remember. So, most of the people will confuse while creating the EFF based pause rule. This is very critical to understand. So, you have to use the context code. And after that, I have written fulfillment line EFF dot get flex attribute date values. And if you notice that order release date, so that is API name. So whenever you are creating the EFF, during creation of the EFF or the descriptive flags fields, you have an API. So API is very important, keep the role over here. So you have to enter the API name. Is not null. So I have entered that my API. So whatever. So it will get the flags attribute date values. So I have entered the date values. So it will evaluate whether date or the time, whatever the values entered in the flags field, it will evaluate based on your value set. I'll show you that also. After that, then, so assign new, then first BO seeded orchestration rules dot sac result and SAC. Right? So start SAC. So SAC, what it means of the SAC? SAC is start after condition. So any conditions, right? Satisfy. After that, it will start another condition. So that you have to enter new DU seeded orchestration rules dot sac results. Header dot sac result equal to SAC, and then reevaluate flag is no. SAC results sac type DU orchestration sac results dot sac timer. So that what you have to use. And then header dot sac result wait time. So I have utilized the date time condition over here. It will check the value. So whatever the values I have entered within the API, so that is order release date. So whatever I am entering, it is waiting for that date of time. If your flex field data type is date and time, then it will consider date along with the time. If its data type is date, then it will check the date. So in our case, it's date. That's why it will wait. So that's why I have used both conditions. So my data type could be date or time. So accordingly, it will be considered. So let me zoom it again, all the conditions. So you can see that. Then exactly same conditions you have to create to understand how that pause is working, and you can customize it based on your business requirement. You can achieve it. So if you see that order release date, so that is what the API name. So that you have to enter, and then within this, so let me little bit make that so that it is easy to view. And then this condition, so I am utilizing the timer sac results, and then I am satisfying the wait date time till the API. So flex field date values, whatever we enter. So exactly same, you have to create the pause rule. Now second rule. So in the second rule, in the properties, you have to again click on the, so how you can enter another rule. So within the rule, you have to click on plus and then click on the generate rules. So you have to go to the properties. For second pause rule, you have to make priority as a high and then make active. enable the advanced mode and click on. Now, within that, what we have entered is header. So that condition, same you have to return. And then, so sec result, it is the same. I have written new BO seeded orchestration rules dot sec result, then sec, then reevaluate flag, and after that sec underscore type underscore timer. Now I have returned the date 365. That date, that days you can enter 90 days, 7 days, 15 days. So let's take example. If user, as I mentioned earlier, as a business case, user forgot to enter the date for order to release. So system will wait for certain days so that user can come back to the order management UI and can reevaluate his order and enter the date if you forget. So for 15 days, that is what the date and all you can decide based on your business requirements. So I've entered the 365. So my pause will wait for 365 days until unless user entered it. If user forget that, pause will automatically release in order to satisfy. These conditions you can put, customize days, time, hours. So based on your business requirement, you can achieve and you can enter. So once you enter both rules, so don't forget, as I mentioned, second rule always be high. If you forget that, then rule won't work as expected. Once you're done, you have to make sure you validated all your rules. Once you validated, if there won't be any error, you can click on save and then you are ready for the deployment. For deployment, you have to click on action. Then first you have to validate, then you have to release, and then you have to deploy the process. Okay. So let's validate this. So we have validated again since we have not make any changes. After that, you have to release it and then you have to deploy. So system, since we have revised the process, so system asking that if we release, then the version second will be undated and now it will effective start of the version 3. So I said, okay, go ahead, create another version. So it will create another version. So now it's created another version. And if you see that version 3, the latest version, now we have to click deploy process. Okay. So let me deploy it. So if you click on the deploy, you have to enter your username and password and click on the deploy. Once it's successfully deployed, then the latest version of the orchestration process will be effective. Now you can refer my earlier videos how you can associate your custom orchestration process with your order type. So that video you can refer so that you can understand how we are defaulting based on the order type or certain condition, the orchestration rule. Now I'll show you the flags fields. So for flags fields, let me go and search, manage extensible flag fields. So if I search, then fulfillment, and if I click on the manage context, so you can notice that I have created this context. You can refer my earlier videos where I have created video on how to create extensible flags field in Oracle Fusion that you can watch out. Now I have entered display name order release date, and code. So flex context code is order release date. That is what we have entered in our pause rule. And if you notice that API name, so let me go back. So API name. So this is what the segment API name that you have to use, not the context one. Context one is the code, and for API you have to use the segment API name. This is very important, and API name not be having any space or a special character, that you make sure. And API name you use carefully, otherwise your orchestration process won't work. So that is what you have to create. Now, what I mentioned, if you see that the data type I use as a date. So you can use the date and time as well. And based on that, if you are entering the date along with the time, or you created the value shared date and time, so system will evaluate accordingly. So based on your business requirement, you can customize, create flex field. The name for demo purpose I have created. You can create as per your business need any flex field name, any nomenclature you can use as per your business. And you have to deploy once you created the EFF successfully, you have to deploy the flex fields. Once it's successfully deployed, then you can utilize your context code or the API name into your orchestration and achieve your business requirement. So this is end to end how, what conditions, make sure whatever the conditions I have entered, exact condition you have to enter in order to achieve achieve your requirement. If you face any challenges while creating it, you can feel free to reach out to me over my registered email ID, fusionnextgenlearning at gmail.com. And keep subscribe, keep sharing, do likes. Thank you. Thank you for watching my channel, Fusion Next Gen Learning. Keep subscribing, keep watching happily.